So in honor of the Vegas Golden Knights cheating and still losing in round number 1 in Game 7 to the Dallas Stars, I'm going to go ahead and pretty much trade every player from this team because they are full of cheaters. I'm taking a good hard look at you, Mark Stone, who has been injured every single season for the past 3 years after the trade deadline until Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that is exactly what we're going to do in today's video, boys. We are going to be doing a Vegas rebuild of the Vegas Golden Cheaters. The team in the NHL that pretty much every other fan base hates. Basically, for the way they treat their goaltenders, the way they treat their players, the way they treat the NHL. It's basically franchise mode in NHL 24 for their front office and management in Vegas. Now, at the end of next season, we do have to re-sign Noah Hanifin, even though in real life they did re-sign him. The extension has not kicked in here in the game. We also got to get back Jonathan Marchessault and Chandler Stevenson, who are on relatively cheap deals. They'll probably be asking for more money in the offseason. Also, a guy like Anthony Mantha and Alex Martinez, and everybody else can pretty much stay. If we take a look at our goaltenders, Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson are both locked up for 2 more years, so I do not have to worry about that. We don't have any cap space, 1.2 mil. So I am going to look for some trades for younger pieces for the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't think I'm going to make too many changes here in year number 1, but don't worry, boys. I'm sure I'll get trade happy at some point throughout the video. And most of these guys will be gone by the end of year number 5. As we are going with the same challenge as the Tampa and Toronto rebuild, I have 5 years to win this roster, a Stanley Cup. I can make any moves I want, but all I have to do is in 5 years or less, win a Stanley Cup for the Vegas Golden Knights. Can I do it? Well, I guess we're going to find out. Now, before we go ahead and simulate, if you guys do enjoy NHL videos just like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 20K. Get me there. Help me there, boys. Also, make sure you turn on the bell notification so you don't miss a single live stream or video that I put out. So, the first guy that I am going to be going after here for Vegas is none other than Frederick Gaudreau. I believe he's an 83 overall, 30 years old. He's got 5 years left on his deal, only making $2.1 million, so we're not going to have to spend a lot of money. I'm going to give up Carrier, Denisenko, and this guy. Let's see if this will go through, and it does. Also, are the Vegas Golden Knights the most hated team in the NHL right now? It seems like when they lose, everybody else wins. As far as fan bases go, as everybody just piles on them for cheating the LTIR, trading away Fleury, and just be hand-gifted a very good team from day one. There's not too many Vegas fans in the NHL, at least ones that are not from Vegas themselves. I don't think I'm going to go after anybody here at the deadline, as there's not too many great players available. I mean, Jeremy Swayman I could go after, but again, I trade for him in almost every one of my rebuilds. I want to go with some different players. I mean, Spencer Knight is back here, 22 years old, 84 overall. But I think we're still going to rock with Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill. If we choke in the playoffs, then maybe I might try to get a better goaltender in the offseason. But for right now, I think I'm good with the roster that we have. So at the end of the season, we are going to finish with the second best record in the Pacific as we went 47, 28, and 7, 101 points. The Oilers were the best in our division and second in the NHL behind the Winnipeg Jets. Toronto was very good. Tampa Bay was up there, Colorado and Minnesota. If we take a look at our roster, Jack Eichel is going to lead our team. He had 33 goals and 77 points, followed by Mark Stone, who had 72. Also, he played 82 games. He didn't get injured at the trade deadline again. Jonathan Marchessault had 67 points, Tomas Hertl 67, Carlson 65. Chandler Stevenson had a good year, so we are a very deep team. I mean, we don't have that top-end talent that some other teams have, like Edmonton and Colorado. But defensively and depth-wise, we are very good. Now, for goalies, Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson are pretty much going to split the games. Thompson was slightly better, a .910 save percentage and 286 GAA. Connor McDavid is going to lead the NHL in scoring with 116 points, followed by Draisaitl, who had 110. Austin Matthews had a good season with 108. Artemi Panarin, 101. JT Miller was up there, as well as your mom's a hoe, Sebastian Aho. If we take a look at the goals side here, Matthews going to dominate with 66 on the season, followed by Draisaitl, who had 56, Pasternak had 51, Aho 43, and Breadman 42. Goalies, neither of our goalies are going to be up there for wins because they only played half the year. Hellebuck had the most at 46, and for shutouts, it will go to Freddie Anderson, who had 8. In the first round of the playoffs, we are up against the Calgary Flames, who should be a relatively easy matchup for us. We have a better offense, defense, and goaltending. I don't even know how they made the playoffs. If we lose to Calgary, some big changes will be made in the offseason, that's for sure. And the Edmonton Oilers are going to do exactly what Vegas did to them last season as they beat us in 6 games in the second round, as we are going home again very early. I mean, we did better in the game than we did in real life, considering that they went to Game 7 of round number 1 with Dallas. We actually won a playoff series in NHL 24. Shout out to the Edmonton Oilers going on and winning the Stanley Cup as they beat Florida in 7 games in the finals. If we take a look at our playoff run, Jack Eichel had 4 goals, 16 points. He's our best player. I am going to keep him. And he's been signed. He has 3 more years left on his deal at $8.3 million. Mark Stone had 15 points, Hurdle 13, Stevenson 12, Marchessault 10, and Carlson 10. Connor McDavid is going to take home the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews, the Maurice Richard. The Norris will go to Brendan Montour of the Florida Panthers. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to win the Conn Smythe. Connor Hellebuck, the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Sidney Crosby. All right, so the good news is we do have $21 million in cap space to re-sign the guys that I want to re-sign. Noah Hanifin is definitely a yes. Also, Chandler Stevenson and Jonathan Marchessault I would like to get back as well. Think I might let Anthony Mantha go. He's only an 82 overall, about 30 years old. He's not going to get any better. I'm going to see if Hanifin will take a $5 million 5-year contract from Vegas. That would be the perfect deal to get him on here for 5 years. Lock him up for the rest of the video as well. We don't have to worry about that. Hopefully he accepts it. Now moving on to Marchessault. He's asking for $6.8 million for an 86 overall 33-year-old. He might end up saying no to it, but we'll see if he takes this contract. Hopefully he does. If not, I might give him like 6.5, 6.4. And finally, for Chandler Stevenson, a 6-year deal is pretty hefty, but we could end up moving him. $5.5 million. Now, the bad news is we only have $6.9 million in cap space to sign a player in the offseason here, and Tarasenko's asking for $9 million, Reinhart $10 million. I mean, these guys want to get paid, man. They want big money, and 85's asking for $6.6 million. If we take a look at the RFAs, I mean, Peyton Krebs the only guy available. I don't really want him. We're looking for win-now players. A guy like Teuvo Teravainen, I would love to sign, although he's asking for way too much money. So, I mean, Jason Zucker, D'Angelo. Why do these guys want such high contracts? It's absolutely insane. Shane Gostisbehere only asking for 5.5. 86 overall, 31-year-old defenseman, 3 years. You know what, brother? I will give you 5.6, 3 years. That'll be perfect. We'll get you on our decor. Hopefully he accepts that. A guy like JVR, 35-year-old, 84 overall. Let's see. If we end up missing on Shane Gostisbehere, we can tip our hat on this, as we're going to offer him $3.4 million for 2 years. Now, obviously, if Gostisbehere signs, we're not going to have the money for JVR. And JVR has accepted, which most likely means that Shane Gostisbehere has declined. He's decided to go with another team this time. You simply have not offered me the dollars I feel I deserve. Brother, I offered you more money than you even asked for in free agency. What are you saying? I'm going to try to offer Blake Wheeler a 1-year contract here, actually 2-year contract at $4 million. Actually, screw it. We'll give him 4.2 to make sure he signs with us. We can obviously move this deal. And luckily for us, Blake Wheeler has accepted our offer. So if we take a look at our roster now, we have Tomas Hertl, Jack Eichel, and Mark Stone on that first line. A very good first line. Our second line is good as well with Marchessault, Stevenson, and Carlson. Our third line, JVR is an 84, Frederick Goodrow is an 82, and Kolasar is a 79. And we got Barbashev on our fourth line. I might actually throw him up on the third line here. Our fourth line, we have an 85 Blake Wheeler on there. Also Nicholas Waugh, or I think is it Roy or Waugh? It might be Waugh, honestly, and Kolasar as well, which, I mean, our forward depth is unmatched. Defensively, we're very good as well with Shea Theodore and Pietrangelo, a 91 and 90. Noah Hanifin's up to an 86, White Cloud 82, and our bottom pairing is pretty decent. And in goal, obviously, we have an 87 overall Logan Thompson and 86 Aiden Hill, because I don't know if these guys can get it done. I mean, 86 is pretty high for a goaltender, but if I can get like a 90-plus overall goalie, I will definitely give up one or both of them up. Also, I'm going to be stripping Mark Stone of the captaincy. You cannot just fake an injury every single season and expect to be the captain. Jack Eichel, welcome aboard, brother. You're the new captain. Mark Stone, you can be an A. And there we go. It is a new era here in Vegas. So we have a loaded deal here. We got Boehm, Zakharov, a second-round pick, White Cloud, and Goodrow for Evgeny Kuznetsov. So we have a loaded trade here. Boehm, Zakharov, a second-round pick, White Cloud, and Goodrow for Evgeny Kuznetsov, who has 1 year left on his deal. He's also still an 86 overall, 32 years old playmaker, so he should be able to produce. Let's see if the Carolina Hurricanes will go through with it, and they have. We we have definitely upgraded our third line center position, as Kuzi is actually going to fit in very nicely as our second line center at an 86. Obviously, Carlson, one overall lower, but forward core really is very good defensively, so we should be able to go on a very deep playoff run here. Now, thankfully, after a very slow start to the regular season and not really a great year at all, we are going to finish third in the Pacific, only winning 42 games, losing 34-6 in overtime, good enough for 90 points. Vancouver and Edmonton were both better than us. I mean, Edmonton back-to-back years winning 50 games. The Buffalo Sabres were somehow the best team in the entire NHL, winning 56. Colorado was good, New York, New Jersey, and Edmonton. Jack Eichel is going to have a monster season, 48 goals, 107 points. Mark Stone had a good year at 91. Thomas Hertl had 80. Kuznetsov 74, so he was definitely a great pickup. Even though now he's down to an 85 overall, he's producing offensively. Marchessault had 57, Shea Theodore 56, JVR had 51 points and 25 goals at 35 years old. Another W pickup by GM Pasta. Logan Thompson played most of the year, 36, 26, 4, 2 shutouts. Not really the greatest stats, honestly, but he's up to an 87, and I believe Aiden Hill is only an 86 still. He is. Mikko Rantanen is going to lead the NHL in scoring with 113 points, followed by Nathan McKinnon's 111. Jack Eichel was up there, Breadman, and Nick Suzuki. On the goal side, Matthews going to lead with 57, followed by Pasta's 53, and Rantanen's 51. Unfortunately for us, since we had such a bad regular season, we have to face the Vancouver Canucks in round number 1, who do have a good overall roster, very high overalls, and they should be a tough out. Things are not looking too great here as we are down by 1. We tie it up, Jonathan Marchessault, thank God. And we also take the lead here late in the third period. Are we going to advance to round number 2 with a Game 7 victory over the Vancouver Canucks? A big third period. Jonathan Marchessault and Mark Stone get 2 goals on Thatcher Demko. Now, again, in the second round for the third consecutive season, we have the Edmonton Oilers. A tough outing. I mean, it's 1-1 between the two teams. We won the first year when I wasn't there. They won last season. And now it's time for us to break the tiebreaker. Here we are in Game 7, less than 10 minutes remaining. We are leading by 1. Vegas trying to advance to the conference finals. Off Evgeny Kuznetsov. Game-winning goal, and we are going to get it done. Kuzi gets 2 in the third period on Stuart Skinner, and we have eliminated the Edmonton Oilers in 7 games. As in the conference finals, we have the Dallas Stars, who conveniently enough just beat the Vegas Golden Knights in 7 games in real life. So we are going to have to get our get back there and hopefully move on to another Stanley Cup Finals. And the Vegas Golden Knights are going to get it done here in 7 games over the Dallas Stars, as we are going to be headed back to the Stanley Cup Finals yet again. For the third time in Vegas's franchise history. We beat the Stars 4-3 here in 7 games, and led by captain Jack Eichel. No longer Mark Stone, obviously a lot of controversy surrounding him, so I thought it was fitting that we named a new captain to the team. And Jack Eichel is not going to touch the trophy as we are off to the Stanley Cup Finals. And in the finals, we are up against the New York Rangers, who do have a very formidable team. Obviously, Igor Shesterkin will be the X factor, but I do have faith in our team and the roster that I've helped build here. I won't take all the credit, but I did make some important moves. Let's see if we can go on and win a Stanley Cup. And here in only my second season as the GM, the Vegas Golden Knights are going to get it done as we beat the New York Rangers in 4 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, a clean sweep. We dominated them. We were by far the better team, and the additions that have added to the roster got Vegas over the hump yet again, and they are going to capture their second Stanley Cup in their franchise's history. Already completed the challenge, as the Conn Smythe is going to end up going to Mark Stone. 8 goals, 27 points. I mean, he was our former captain, a very good playoff performer, 2-way winger, and he's going to get the Conn Smythe trophy during this Stanley Cup playoff run. As there it is, the Stanley Cup yet again being raised in Vegas. GM Pasta, this is the quickest I've ever won a Stanley Cup with a team, albeit I didn't really have to build a team here or a good roster. I only made small moves that I thought improved the team slightly, and also making Jack Eichel the captain, as he's going to raise it for the Vegas Golden Knights for the second time in his career. But we're not done yet, boys. We got 3 more years to go. Hopefully we can win at least 1 more cup before I retire. Now in the playoffs, Stone is going to lead our team in scoring with 27 points. Jack Eichel had a monster postseason, 14 goals, 26 points. Evgeny Kuznetsov, probably the best addition that I picked up. 11 goals, 24 points. Obviously, he has 1 year left on his deal. He'll probably need to be re-signed in the offseason. He's already down to an 84, so I don't think I'm going to re-sign him. Thomas Hertl had 22, Marchessault 20, Chandler Stevenson 20, JVR 19. Mikko Rantanen is going to win the Ted Lindsay, Art Ross, and Hart Trophy. Matthews will take home the Maurice Richard, the Norris to Adam Fox. Obviously, the Conn Smythe to Stone, Sorokin the Vezina, and the Selke again will go to Sidney Crosby. Now, luckily, again, we have a ton of cap space to re-sign players. 18 million. Shea Theodore is our biggest guy that we got to get done. 29 years old, 91 overall. He's asking for a $10 million contract. I think I'm going to give it to him. I mean, he deserves it. And he's still not even 30 years old, so 10.5 mil. I can live with giving to Shea Theodore. Now, unfortunately, we do have to re-sign both our goaltenders. I'm going to try to get Thompson first at an 87. I might end up letting Aiden Hill walk, considering I don't think we're going to have enough room to have both of them. Luckily, Braden McNabb has re-signed, as well as Shea Theodore. When Thompson re-signed also, Nicholas Hague as well. And the only player that we're probably going to end up losing is Kuznetsov, who's only an 84. Now, since we have literally zero cap space available in free agency, we're not going to be going after anybody. Mikko Rantanen is available. He's the big dog, UFA, $14 million deal. For a 28-year-old is kind of scary. So we are pretty much going to be running back the exact same roster. Obviously, we lost Kuznetsov, so our third and fourth line aren't going to be as strong. JVR is lowered, as well as Blake Wheeler, and overall, offensively, Theodore's gotten better. Petrangelo's kind of fallen off, so our decor is not the same that it was. But I do believe it should be enough to win us another cup. And Logan Thompson, and we also picked up Carl Lindbaum, 22-year-old elite goaltender. This could be our starting goalie of the future. He actually got drafted by Vegas, so we didn't pick him up. We just called him up. He's got 1 year left on his deal. I'm definitely going to re-sign him in the offseason. He's already 85. Logan Thompson's an 87. So we literally just basically replaced Aiden Hill. Now, I don't believe we can make it work, but how sweet would it be if we can pick up Alexander Ovechkin? He's making $9.5 million, though. I might try to make a deal here for him, only 1 year, but I don't think I'm going to be able to even give up enough cap space as we only have 1.3 mil available. Now, wait a minute. Let me cook. I got JVR and Blake Wheeler, who do make a lot of money for the caliber player that they are. 3.4 and 4.2, a second and a third for Ovi, and this Hutanen guy can go well contract-wise. Let's see if they accept it. Reject it. Okay, so I might have to give up a first-round pick. I'm going to give up a second and a first instead. Our first-round pick has a lot of value, and we're not really going to be building towards the future. So first to second, Wheeler and JVR, and the trade has been accepted. Alexander Ovechkin, welcome to Vegas. And unfortunately, we are going to end up missing the playoffs 1 year after winning the Stanley Cup. We just barely missed out on the second wildcard spot. 87 points. The Minnesota Wild got it. At 38, 35, and 9, 85 points. Not great at all, honestly. San Jose had a better record than us, and Ovi didn't really help us out too much. Even before the trade deadline, we weren't doing that good. So that is kind of why I traded for Ovi, but he didn't really help the team that much. Carolina is going to be the best team in the regular season. 51 wins. Tampa Bay was very good. Buffalo, New York. Jack Eichel is going to lead our team. 37 goals, 83 points. Mark Stone also had 83. Ovi had 73 points as a 40-year-old. Only 16 goals, though, which is not great. Thomas Hertl had 68, Carlson 60, Marchessault 60, Shea Theodore 53, and Logan Thompson was honestly pretty bad. A .909 save percentage is not great. Austin Matthews is going to end up leading the entire league in goals with 53 and points with 107. Actually, him and Aho would tie in points. But Matthews, since he did have the most goals, will win the Art Ross, I believe. And the New York Islanders would go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating Dallas in 5 games in the finals. Aho is going to win the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy. The Art Ross and Maurice Richard will go to Matthews, the Norris to Adam Fox, Matthew Barzal, the Conn Smythe. Kochetkov will win the Vezina, and the Selke will go to Sidney Crosby for the 3rd straight season in a row. Alrighty, so we have $19 million in cap space, and we need to re-sign Jack Eichel, who's going to be looking for a massive contract, $10.5 million. I'm pretty much going to have to offer him this. I don't want to lose him for nothing, and hopefully he will take this deal. And in goal, I do need to re-sign Lindbaum, who's an 88 overall, 23-year-old. I'm going to give him a $1.5 million deal for 2 years, as he's not looking for a lot of money, and he's already an elite goaltender. Luckily, Jack Eichel has re-signed to the Vegas Golden Knights, as well as Carl Lindbaum, who re-signed for a very cheap deal. Unfortunately for Ovechkin, he wasn't able to re-sign. We have $9.4 million in cap space. space, but for some reason, it will not let me re-sign Ovi. Now, it says that we have $13 million in cap space, but in reality, we only have 6.5. I think I'm going to end up going after Bruce Jenner here. He only wants $5.5 million. So honestly, if we can get him on a 2-year deal, I will give him like 5.9. And luckily, he was extremely happy to accept my offer. So we have an 87 overall second line centerman that we've just added to the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, heading into season number 4, we are pretty much rocking with the similar team. I mean, we did add Bruce Jenner, who's an 86 overall. We still have Chandler Stevenson as our third line center. Fourth line's a lot worse than it was. Our third line's not great either defensively. Outside of Shea Theodore, we don't really have the greatest decor. 83s and 82s overall. And in goal, we do have a 90 overall Carl Lindbaum and an 87 Logan Thompson. I might end up trading Thompson, see if I can get anything back for him. I might try to add a good defenseman to our roster. We are going absolutely all in here. Mintyukov, I got him for Toronto. Obviously, we didn't win a Stanley Cup with him, but he's already an 89 overall, not making a lot of dollars. For Logan Thompson, a first, a second, a third, and a second. Also picked up a goaltender because we'd have too few goalies. Trade rejected. Okay. We'll give this year's and next year's, who do have a lot of trade value. Will they accept it? They have done it. We have definitely upgraded our blue line heading into the regular season here. All right, we're going all in here. Myers, Benak, a second, and Alex Pietrangelo, who's only an 82 and making $7.3 million for Hampus Lindholm, who's still pretty young and a better player. Boston has accepted my offer. Perfect. Now I'm going to go after JJ from the Buffalo Sabres. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name for 2 first, or actually 1 first and 2 second overall picks. As we do have the cap space, Buffalo has accepted. Next up is Brad Marchand from the Montreal Canadiens of all teams. I guess they signed him in the offseason for a first, a second, a third, and Dubamine. I definitely butchered that name regardless. Let's see if Montreal will do it. They have done it. And here is the new look Vegas Golden Knights. We picked up Marchand, also Bruce Jenner over the offseason. Oh my God, I made a huge mistake trading for JJ. I didn't even realize he was an RFA. So I can only offer him $800,000 because we don't have any cap space whatsoever. He's most likely going to decline it and spend the entire season in the AHL. This is the new look Vegas Golden Knights. Obviously, Brad Marchand's going to be on the first line. We picked him up defensively. We got a lot better. We got Theodore, Mintyukov, Lindholm. Also, I don't know why Hanifin is scratched. And in goal, we have a 90 overall Carl Lindbaum in our backup. He's not going to play a lot of games, so it's not going to matter. But regardless, I have trust in Lindbaum, even though he's a 23-year-old goalie. So at the end of the season, we had a very good year. 42 wins, 31 losses, 9 in overtime, 93 points, second in the Pacific. Jack Eichel is going to lead our team in scoring. He had 36 goals and 81 points. Brad Marchand had 79. Marceau 73, or 63, I should say. Mark Stone had 59. Theodore 55. Stevenson 48. And Lindbaum went 34, 26, and 8. 3 shutouts, and not the greatest stats, but he is still pretty young. So I'm not going to put too many expectations on him. He's a 90 overall. I don't know what more I could really ask from a 23-year-old goaltender. Austin Matthews, again, is going to dominate, leading in goals with 80, almost goal per game, and points with 124. Nylander had a good season, as well as Breadman and Lafreniere. And in the first round of the playoffs, we yet again have the Calgary Flames. So, I mean, they probably have a better roster now than they did in year number 1, but still, we should be able to beat them and go on a deep playoff run here. Somehow, we would end up losing in the very first round to the Flames, as the Rangers will go on and beat LA in 6 games in the finals to capture the Stanley Cup. Austin Matthews going to win all the awards. The Norris will go to Adam Fox. The Conn Smythe to Breadman. Jake Ottinger will win the Vezina. And the Selke will go to Kirby Dach of the Montreal Canadiens. All right, so in the offseason here, we got Brad Marchand and JJ. They do both need to be signed. I qualified an RFA for JJ. Hopefully he accepts it. I also sent a contract to Mark Stone. He didn't want a lot of money. He is 35 years old and 83 overall. Thankfully, Brad Marchand has decided to re-sign, as well as Mark Stone. JJ did not accept our offer, but he is asking only $5.2 million, which I am very comfortable giving him. And now we look at the UFAs. Holy hell, Quinn Hughes is asking for $16 million, 95 overall. I mean, I guess that's a lot of money to pay one player, though. I am low-key comfortable giving Barrett Hayton a $9 million deal. He's a 90 overall centerman, 6 years. Obviously, we only have 1 year left. We'll see if we have the cap space to still sign him after JJ either accepts or rejects our offer. It looks like JJ did not have cap space to sign because we have signed Barrett Hayton in the offseason. Extremely happy to accept your offer. Perfect. And for our final season of the video, we still have Jack Eichel and Barrett Hayton, who honestly, I think I'm going to put down as our second line center. Maybe throw Mark Stone on the first line with Eichel and JJ. Marchand, Hayton, and Stevenson on the second line. Our third and fourth lines aren't great. They were a little bit better a few years ago. Defensively, we are loaded. We have Hannafin, Lindholm, Haig, Theodore, Mintikov. We're very good defensively, so that should help us out in the playoffs. And in goal, an 89 Lindbaum, and a backup, an 80 overall Jacob Markstrom. Not bad. It is now the trade deadline, and I'm going after Josh Morrissey. 1 year left on his deal, but luckily this is the final season. He's an 89 overall, I believe. Giving up 3 firsts, a second, and Brad Marchand, who's taking up a lot of the cap, and luckily the Winnipeg Jets have accepted my offer. We are going to end the season second best in the Pacific, only behind the San Jose Sharks, as we went 44, 27, and 11, 99 points. A very good regular season to be proud of. Jack Eichel is going to lead our team with 37 goals and 92 points. JJ had 81 and 30 goals, so I'm glad we ended up picking him up for a relatively cheap deal at $2.4 million. Barrett Hayton had 68 points. Mark Stone, 68. Chase Theodore, 51. Stevenson was okay. And if we take a look at Lindbaum, 37, 22, and 8. 3 shutouts and pretty good stats. I'm rocking with a 910 save percentage. Again, Matthews is going to dominate, leading in goals with 58 and points with 111. Kucherov was good. Braden Point, McDavid, Quinn Hughes had a hell of a year with 106 points. And in the first round of the playoffs, we have the Edmonton Oilers, a very tough matchup to draw here in round number 1. And of course, we got absolutely dominated by the Oilers in 5 games in round number 1, as the New York Rangers will go on and win the Stanley Cup, beating Colorado in 5 games. Kucherov is going to win the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Trophy. Art Ross and Maurice Richard to Matthews. The Norris will go to Quinn Hughes. Lafreniere is going to win the Conn Smythe. Schmidt, the Vezina, and the Selke to Sharangovich of the Colorado Avalanche. And that is going to do it for GM past his time here in Vegas, as he has completed the challenge. We won a Stanley Cup within 5 years. We actually won it in our second year, I believe. After that, we kind of fell apart a little bit. I made more moves. I mean, I thought I had a good roster, at least in the regular season-wise. We did miss the playoffs that 1 year, but we had a lot of good players on our team. We just couldn't get it done in the postseason. Let me know in the comments who I should do next. Obviously, for teams getting eliminated here in round number 2, I will rebuild some of their rosters. I would like to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, don't be silly. Wrap your willy.